Hey guys, I wanted to share a little bit of backstory about my daughter, my youngest one. Her name is Jordan, and she is 9 years old. She'll be 10 later on this year. But I wanted to just have just a short video on something that probably a lot of you guys have never heard of. I know I had never heard of it until she was actually diagnosed with it in utero. But yeah, let's get to it. So my now husband and I got married in 2014. And when we got married, I had a daughter that was 1.5 and a son that was, I believe he was 7. And we wanted to wait a little bit before we had a child of our own just because my youngest one at the time was so young. She was 1.5. After about a year, we started trying to get pregnant, and I was very concerned that I wasn't going to be able to get pregnant because I had had the Mirena. And when I had the Mirena, the doctor that placed it, without me knowing, cut off the strings completely and informed me that I did not need to come back in X amount of weeks to get it checked to see if it was still in place correctly because he had, quote, done thousands of these. So when I was having continual bleeding and it was messing with my hormones so bad, I went back to a different OBGYN, and he explained to me that the strings were completely cut off and it was cockeyed in my uterus. And just a little side note, I had had the Mirena for about 4 years before I had my daughter, and it was wonderful. I had no issues out of it. But after I had my daughter and I had it placed incorrectly with the strings completely cut off, it all went haywire from there. Needless to say, I was having a continual bleeding and hormone issues, and I was exhausted, I was anemic, it was really, really bad. So I was concerned that that doctor that had placed it had potentially messed up something inside that I was unable to get pregnant, and it really concerned me for a little bit. But I ended up getting my Mirena surgically removed. They had to put me under because they couldn't reach it without the strings being there. And with it being cockeyed, it was a mess. So I had to be put under to have this Mirena removed. When we finally did get pregnant, we found out in January of 2016, and I was ecstatic. We both were. And, you know, it was his first time being a father to one of his own children. And this was going to be my third, so I felt like I was pretty comfortable in what was going to happen. I'd already had 2 previous C-sections. You know, I'm diabetic, but I knew what I needed to do to keep my pregnancy as healthy and easy as possible. So very shortly after I became pregnant, I started having severe dizzy spells. I started having not morning sickness, but it was just, it was different. I knew it was different, and I didn't know why, but I could tell it was different. And I started having a lot of pain in my abdomen, so we went to the ER. They went ahead and did an ultrasound just to make sure it was not an ectopic pregnancy, and it was not. Eventually that passed, and we still don't know what it was, and that's okay because it passed. But when I was about 18 weeks pregnant, oh, and also I had had the worst morning sickness of my life. I had never had that with my other 2, and for whatever reason I did with this one. And I don't know. I say it's my husband's fault because that's the only difference in the variable, you know, was the husband. But all joking aside, it was awful. I had it morning, noon, night, did not matter when it was. But when I was about 18 weeks pregnant, we were going to our ultrasound to find out if we were having a boy or a girl. And that's when I got a call from UAMS in Arkansas. And on a Friday, mind you, it was a Friday afternoon. They called me about 4:45 p.m. I did not see the phone call until about 5:30 p.m. Tried to call them back. Their offices were closed, and all they had to say on there was, "We think we see something wrong with your baby. Can you give us a call back ASAP? We need to set you up with an appointment." Needless to say, I was absolutely terrified because I knew it was going to be Monday before I was able to even get a hold of anybody. And I was trying to keep myself very calm throughout the weekend, but knowing that they saw that there was something wrong with my child and that they couldn't disclose that over the phone. They called on a Friday afternoon right before they closed. That took it to the top for me. Like, subscribe, comment for part 2.